the author, the creator, the governor of the world, almighty, eternal, and incomprehensible. I'd like to give honor to the last prophet in these days and time, Prophet Noble Ali, the one who reached down into the watery grave of carnal things and said, you and me back up right on our feet again. I'd like to give honor to the forerunner to the Prophet Noble Ali, Marcus Garvey. I'd like to give honor to all literature pertaining to Islam in the Moorish Science Temple of America. I'd like to give honor to the Grand Sheikhs of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Sheikh Anise Sanders Bey, to her assistants, Sheikh Lachlanetta Austin Bey, to our national chairman, Sheikh R. McClurkin Bey, to our Grand Mufti, Brother A. Light Eel, and to all of those that have and will aid and assist us in this, our divine and gigantic mission, the uplifting of fallen humanity. I'd like to give a special honor to effort, because so many of us don't even try. It is a custom when addressing a group of Moors, wayfarers, and sympathizers, moreover, our Portland audience, to read from the Moorish Holy Quran that was divinely prepared by our holy prophet Noble Ali for our earthly and our divine salvation. This evening, I'll read from chapter 31. And because I'm looking at all these black faces, I have to read chapter Justice, because justice is dealing upright, equal, and fair. So at this time, I'll read from the chapter Justice. And it reads on this wise. The peace of society dependeth on justice, the happiness of individuals on the safe enjoyment of all their possessions. Keep the desires of thy heart, therefore, within the bounds of moderation. Let the hand of justice lead them aright. Cast not an evil eye on the goods of thy neighbor. Let whatever is his property be sacred from thy touch. Let no temptation allure thee, nor any provocation excite thee to lift up thy hand to the hazards of his life. Defame him not in his character. Bear no false witness against him. Corrupt not his servants to cheat or forsake him, and the wife of his bosom, O tempt not to sin. It would be a grief to his heart, which thou cannot reveal, an injury to his life, which no reparation can atone. In thy dealings with men, be impartial and just, and do unto them as thou wouldest they should do unto thee. Be faithful to thy trust, and deceive not the man who relieth upon thee. Be assured it is less evil in the sight of Allah to steal than to betray. Oppose not the poor, and defraud not of his labor the laboring man. When thou sellest for gain, hear the whispering of conscience, and be satisfied with moderation, nor from the ignorance of thy buyer take any advantage. Pay the debts which thou owest, for he who gave thee credit relieth upon thine honor, and to withhold from him his due is both mean and unjust. Finally, O son of society, examine thy heart, call remembrance to thy aid, and if any of these things thou hast transgressed, make a speedy reparation to the utmost of thy power. The meeting is officially open according to the Circle 7 and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Indeed, it's an honor, a pleasure, moreover, a duty to come before you again to talk about the last prophet in these days and time, Prophet Noble Ali. Now, before I give honor to the brothers for coming all the way here from Washington, D.C. on their own, not asking for a dime, I want to talk about a verse in this chapter. And the verse I want to read from is verse 9. And I want to read this because I had a misunderstanding about it when I grew up in the church. And it reads on this wise. It said, be faithful to thy trust, and deceive not the man who relieth upon thee. Be assured it is less evil in the sight of Allah to steal than to betray. You know, at one time I thought that all sins was the same. I thought that all sins was equal. But I come to find out in this verse, Drew Ali is telling us that it's less evil in the sight of God to steal than betray.
That's right.
So now I'd rather for you to steal from me than to betray me. Because there's a difference in that sin. Sin comes in degrees. Even in the courthouse, you can get a misdemeanor and you can get a felony. When you get a felony, then that's betrayal. Now this evening, you know, we have brothers and come all the way here from Washington, D.C. We're in the process of going to Chicago to meet with Grand Sheikh Kenyu Harris Bey and his membership because we're going to unite the bodies. And we have 4 or 5 other grand bodies that's going to unite with us also after we have the meeting with Kenyu Bey. I'd like to give honor to Kenyu Bey because he's worthy of honor. And to withhold from him his honor is both mean and unjust. Now we're fortunate this evening, we have the Grand Mufti. And what I love about whenever we had a Grand Mufti, other than Foster here, we always had an old one. We got a young one now. We got a young Grand Mufti that's going to be here for a long time to help propagate and extend the learning truth of the great prophet of Ali in America. You know, we had a brother by the name of Bernard Dent Bey. And at this last convention, Bernard Dent Bey, Sheikh Bernard Dent Bey, was voted into the position of our national chairman. Unfortunately, he said he was tired here and he wanted to go on the soul plane to do some work. So he went on the other soul plane, but what he did was he passed the torch on. And the brother that he passed the torch on to was Sheikh McClurkin Bey, my man. I remember this brother over 30 years ago, and he's been propagating the faith and extending the learnings and truth of the great prophet of Ali in a moment. So I'm going to get off this podium now because I want to hear this great sheikh who come all the way here from Washington, D.C. to give our audience here in Portland a message. So at that due, we'll call the National Grand Sheikh, Sheikh McClurkin Bey.
It's not National Chairman.
Well,
it's not.
What I call it?
National Grand Sheikh.
Man, I'm giving you too much right now.
I haven't moved up that fast.
Yeah,
First, I'd like to thank and welcome the many things that I have experienced so far since being here, arriving in Portland yesterday. I'd like to thank Sheikh and the Grand Governor here of Temple Number 2 of the Moorish Science Temple of America for having the courage to come up here by itself with no other staff, no other assistants. But he came up here and he started something in Portland. And he's sharing what I'm going to share with you today, the teachings of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And the Moors do honor for that. You know, because me and this brother have a history. You know, he's the brother, the governor, who gave me my nationality card 34 years ago. And at that time, I didn't have the vision to see that we would be sitting beside each other in this studio today. And I'd like to also thank the staff here at Portland Community Media for welcoming us with open arms. Our theme for the show today is the unification of the Moorish movement. But before I get into that, I want to send out a special blessing to all of those who are listening or have the opportunity to tune in today, because the instruction I want to give first is to parents. We know that our communities and our youth today are going through really a lot, and they need the best that we can offer them. And I'm going to give you something that was given to me so that your children may have the opportunity to grow just as well as I had to in the Moorish movement with the teachings that I was given to by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And I want to touch bases on a particular chapter, chapter 22 in the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Chapter 23, beg your pardon. Holy instructions for thy children. And out there I want y'all to consider yourselves a parent. The importance of your trust. The being thou hast produced, it is thy duty to support. Upon thee also dependeth whether the child of thy bosom be a blessing or a curse to thyself, and useful or worthless member to the community. Prepare him early with instruction, and season his mind with the maxims of truth.
That's right.
Watch the bent of his inclination. Set him right in his youth, and let no evil habit gain strength with his years.
That's right, Mom.
See, this is how we have to deal with our children today.
Yes.
Because once you take on evil habits or bad habits, and you begin to foster them and make them, and they manifest into your behavior, that's why it's so hard for us as parents to break our children out of these things. So I want to continue. So shall he rise like a cedar on the mountains. His head shall be seen above the forest of the trees. A wicked son is a reproach to his father, but he that doeth right is an honor to his gray hairs.
Yes.
And this is what we want our children. We want our children to do right. But in wanting them to do right, we got to raise them and season their minds with the maxims of truth. And here's some of the things that I'm going to share with the community today here up in Portland that will aid you and assist you in raising your children. One of them is, teach him obedience, and he shall bless thee. Teach him modesty, and he shall not be ashamed. Teach him gratitude, and he shall receive benefits. Teach him charity, and he shall gain love. Teach him temperance, and he shall have health. Teach him prudence, and fortune shall attend him.
Yes.
Teach him justice, and he shall be honored by the world. Teach him sincerity, and his own heart shall not reproach him. Teach him diligence, and his wealth shall increase. Teach him benevolence, and his mind shall be exalted.
Yes.
Teach him science, and his life shall be useful. And teach him religion, and his death shall be happy.
Praise Allah.
I just wanted, that was one of the many things that aided and assisted me as being a parent in raising my children. So I wanted to, and coming to Portland, all the way here on my plane trip, I was thinking to myself, what did I wanted to share that I know would be of a benefit? Because in these days and times, our children are going through so much. They've been miseducated. They're following the wrong examples. So I wanted to share with them an example that I had the opportunity to follow, and this is a great example. I'm talking about the divine instructions from the holy prophet Noble Drew Ali, the last prophet in these days and times. Now the prophet Noble Drew Ali, he came in the same manner and likeness as Jesus did.
Yes.
But he came with a message in this era of time to uplift fallen humanity amongst the Asiatic race and nation here
Talk about it, Mo.
in the United States of America.
Yes. Yes.
Today, I want to talk about the unification of the Moorish movement. And before I do so, I'd like to extend honor for those that are aiding and assisting in reaching this particular goal. And this particular goal has been talked about for many decades, but now it's coming to fruition.
That's right, Mo.
We're going to have the opportunity to see a unified movement because the prophet Noble Drew Ali let us know where there's unity, there's strength. Together we stand and divided we fall. See, when the prophet came to this nation amongst the Asiatic race had mental slavery. See, we still practice the names and principles that allude to slavery. But see, this is a new era of time now. And all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live in the nations of the earth. So for that end, I am here to propagate that message of unity. I'd like to thank my national grand seekers and the sister whom I dearly love, Sister Anise Saunders Bay.
Yes. Yes.
I'd like to also thank her assistants, Sheikahs La'Aquanetta Austin Bay in Washington, D.C., who are aiding and assisting us in that goal as well. Yes. I also like to extend a special honor to a brother whom I have much respect for and that has taken up the mantle of unifying or helping to unify this great Moorish movement. This brother, he resides in the city of Chicago, Brother Kenyu Bay. And I'd just like to thank him and his staff for when they were invited out to the Moorish census that we just held in Washington, D.C. back at the National Mall back on October the 20th. And it was truly a great experience because we rallied around a cause.
Yes, we did.
The importance of Moorish identity in America.
Yes.
And the importance of nationality as it pertains to the ex-slaves and those who are still under the influence of slavery and calling their or identifying themselves by those marks. But here in the Moorish Science Temple of America, the teachings that we foster truly have redemptive value.
Yes,
because the Prophet Noble Drew Ali came to redeem us from our sinful ways. And that was the purpose that Allah sent them to this earth. And I'd like to thank the Prophet for the innumerous hours and time that he spent preparing a great organization, putting together some great literature, informing us of our forefathers' ancient and divine creed and our birthrights, because this is what the fallen sons and daughters of the Asiatic race here in North America have been missing for a long time. I'm talking about the ones that's been mislabeled as Negro, blacks, and colors.
That's right.
See, those are the marks that was put upon slaves in 1779 and lasted until 1865. But this is a new era of time now. So all men now must proclaim their free national name. Why? Because so you can be recognized by the government in which you live and the nations of the earth.
That's right, Mo.
You know, and this is nation time, nation building, and the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America and all of those who are aiding and assisting us, I commend you for your good works. Because we know that there are forces that are against the unification. Because why? Why would forces be against unification? Where everyone don't want progress.
Right.
Some want to maintain the status quo here in America. But today we have men and women of honor and respect and decency.
That's right.
That are willing to sacrifice their time, their money to these ends. And I'd just like to thank Lynch Bay for inviting us out here to the community in Portland to share this great message with Portland and these citizens of Portland. And I trust that you come out to the Moorish Science Temple of America here in Portland, Temple number 2, because the business of the Moorish Science Temple, Temple number 2 out here is the help in the great program of uplifting fallen humanity.
Yes, truly.
See, we want to give our people back everything that was took from them.
That's right. That's right, Mo.
We want to give them back their nationality. We want to teach them of their forefathers' ancient and divine creed, that they may learn to love instead of hate. Now, why learn to love instead of hate? Because slavery, no doubt,